A president who built his political brand on intimidation, lies, and hate is now spending his final days in office in the aftermath of a deadly siege on the United States Capitol. There are people who warned over and over that electing Donald Trump would be bad for America. There are even people who predicted this moment in American history that we now find ourselves in. These people are Republicans.
I will not stop until we fight a man that chooses not to disavow the KKK. That is not a part of our party. That's not who we want as president. We will not allow that in our country.
I'm thinking, how did we get the race for the most important office in the free world to sink to such depths? And how could anyone in my party think that this clown is fit to be president?
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. You know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell.
To me, a racist statement's a racist statement. I don't like what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump has shown himself to be a showman. I don't think he's a serious candidate.
You, sir, are the distraction. Your conduct, sir, is the distraction, Mr. Trump. That I respectfully ask you, with all due respect, to step aside. Step down. Allow someone else to carry the banner of these principles.
During anxious times, it can be tempting to follow the siren call of the angriest voices.
I'm out. I can no longer endorse Donald Trump for president.
He doesn't know the difference between truth and lies. He lies practically every word that comes out of his mouth.
We're on the verge of having someone take over the conservative movement and the Republican Party who's a con artist.
I just really believe that the Republican Party has been conned here, and this guy is not a reliable conservative Republican. This is a defining moment for the Republican Party.
That is not who our Republican Party is. That's not who America is.
Donald Trump's candidacy is a cancer on conservatism, and it must be clearly diagnosed, excised, and discarded.
Now, all of those Republicans went on to broadly support or to work for President Trump's administration, ignoring his nods to extremists, acting like they didn't see his tweets, playing whataboutism with liberals instead of acknowledging the uniquely troubling nature of President Trump. And all of that emboldened him to fulfill the predictions of these very Republicans who sounded the alarm on Donald Trump and then pretended for years that it wasn't going off. Senator Rand Paul knew what would happen.
If no one stands up to a bully will just keep doing what they're doing.
But he didn't stand up. He stood back and stood by. Of all the Republican predictions, Marco Rubio's may have been the most prescient of all of them. The warnings that he gave before he drank the Kool-Aid, at times sipping tepidly with a scrunched up face to protest the taste, as if that would make the difference.
There's only one presidential candidate who has violence at their events.
Leadership is not about going to an angry and frustrated people and saying, you should be even angrier and more frustrated. That is not leadership. You know what that is? That's called demagoguery.
Rubio also warned, quote, "You mark my words. These are people that whether it's now or 5 years from now or 2 years from now or 6 months from now are going to be explaining for a long time how they fell into this." He said, quote, "If we're going to be the party of fear, we're going to spend some time in the wilderness. If we're the party of fear with a candidate who basically is trying to prey upon people's fears to get them to vote for them, I think we're going to pay a big price in November and beyond." He said, "I don't know how this is all going to end. This is uncharted territory." Senator Rubio knew that. His Republican colleagues knew that. And yet only one Republican senator has consistently stood up to Trump before and after this election, and it's Mitt Romney. This was Romney in March of 2016.
He has neither the temperament nor the judgment to be president, and his personal qualities would mean that America would cease to be a shining city on a hill.
Mitt Romney was the lone Republican who voted to convict Trump in his impeachment trial, and he has been living on an island all by himself, standing up to the president. No one visits, not even for a long weekend. Some say they might, like Senators Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Ben Sasse, but they don't really mean it, and they don't. Romney predicted disruption and worse, with Trump supporters gathering in Washington. And as senators were being evacuated from the Capitol, he summoned a reporter from the New York Times over and he told him, quote, This is what the president has caused today, this insurrection. The day before the siege on the Capitol, Romney was heckled at the airport as he traveled to Washington to vote to certify Joe Biden's Electoral College win.
Traitor! 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 Traitor!
A lot of Republicans decided they didn't want to live with that. But now they will have to live with themselves, knowing that before they were sycophants, they were psychics. Just in, anonymous callers are leaving threatening voicemails for one of the Democrats who is drafting impeachment articles. We're going to play you the sound. Plus, new concerns about more violent riots planned across the country leading up to the inauguration.